Today we're talking all about Black Friday 2024 deals. Whether you're a filmmaker, content creator, into cameras, computers, tech, there are deals for everybody. And when I saw the deal Amazon's doing on the M4 Mac Mini, I had to come to you all with this content today because I am really surprised that they discounted this computer so much just weeks after it was announced. So if you're new here, my name's Jeff Fagien. I'm a filmmaker, content creator, DP, and I do a lot of content here talking about cameras, computers, really anything that relates to someone who's in the world of video, but can relate to anybody who just uses this on a casual basis. So if you're into that, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date with the latest content from the channel. But without further ado, let's jump into these Black Friday deals. So the number one deal today is going to be the M4 Mac Mini. Now, Amazon is selling this, if you're not a Prime member, for $559, which is already discounted. But if you are a Prime member, there is a coupon available that is for $59, making the M4 Mac Mini $500, which is an insane deal. Previously, you were only able to get this for $500 if you had access to an EDU account, which isn't super easy. So if you're interested in the Mac Mini, I would totally pick one up during these sales because this $500 deal is the best deal I've seen. Now, if you're looking for an M4 MacBook Pro, Amazon is doing some deals on the M4 MacBook Pros, but they are a lot more expensive, but they are doing a few $100s off instead of $100 off. So if you're interested in an M4 MacBook Pro, I'll have links to some of the deals in the description below, but I find that for computers, the best value deal is the M4 Mac Mini at $500. I've done tons of content here on the channel. You can make sure to check it out. I have an M4 Mac Mini playlist where I go over all the power this machine has for an insane price. The next deal is on a 20 terabyte hard drive from Western Digital. So they're selling their 20 terabyte Element desktop external hard drive for $268. Now, it's not a major discount, but the thing is, whenever Black Friday comes up, the two things that I always try to get are batteries in media, whether it's hard drive media or SD cards, whatever. I didn't really see any crazy SD cards. This Western Digital 20 terabyte is the best deal for all the external drives. And this is not a drive you're going to edit off of. This is a drive that you're specifically going to store footage, pictures, documents, whatever it may be. And it's 20 terabytes at that. So it's a lot of data. You get a little bit of a discount, and these are really needed. I have multiple 10 terabyte, 15 terabyte drives, and I could always use more. So on Black Friday, I tend to pick them up. The next item is going to be an external monitor. Now, this is not an external monitor that you can use outside per se. This is a really small external monitor that you can use with your laptop or maybe a desktop computer if you're trying to make your Mac Mini super portable. You can use it indoors. It uses USB-C or mini HDMI, and if you use the USB-C, it gets powered off of the USB-C port. Now, they're selling it for $167 discounted. It's a really small display. It's 14 inches, but it's meant to be portable. And then it's also a 1080p display, has 400 nits, so it's not going to be the best outside, but if you have something like me, a 14-inch MacBook Pro, the screen's going to be about the same size, so it's a really nice, small and compact dual screen setup if you're running a laptop. Next, we're going to talk about this USB-C cord from SABRENT, because I've been getting a lot of questions on my videos where I measure the watt hours, whether it's checking the watt hours from a power source that offers a lot more power than a camera can provide, just to see how much the camera or laptop, whatever it may be, is actually drawing from it, or you're using a smaller power source just to see what the maximum output is to whatever device you're trying to put it into. This is the cord I use to measure that, and it's always really nice to have. Now, it's a really small discount. It's only $3, but these cords are really cheap in general, and they're really great. They work up to 100 watts, so they can charge your laptop at full speed. So I do highly recommend it. This next power bank is a power bank I use all the time. I got it right here, and it's the Anker Nano power bank that's got the built-in USB-C and also has another USB-C port here on the side that offers power out and offers power in. This power bank is the most convenient power bank I've ever had between its size and having the built-in port right here that can charge, by the way. You can just plug this in right to a charger and not have to bring a cord with you ever. That's what makes this thing super convenient. I pretty much never use a cord with this. I plug this in directly into my devices. The only time I've had to use a cord is when either I'm trying to use two devices to charge from this at once, which is rare, but mainly when I'm using a device that for whatever reason this USB-C that's built in doesn't fit in and I'm just trying to get power. This thing outputs 22.5 watts. When it comes to charging your phone, camera, Osmo Pocket, any of the action cameras, this charges them incredibly quick and it's super small and it's on sale for $15, so it's a really solid pickup for Black Friday. I typically give these as little gifts to people all the time just because they're so cheap, they're so affordable, and they're so convenient. Everybody that I've given these to loves them. I'm not even affiliated with Anker. I just really love these little power banks. So really great option for Black Friday. The next two products are going to be Anker as well, and they're somewhat related to each other. So first we have the 100-watt USB-C charger. Now this is my main charger that I pretty much bring on most of my trips. Reason being, it's 100 watts. So if you grab out of the USB-C that has the laptop icon, it will give you 100 watts out, or up to 100 watts if your computer will take that. Then the cell phone USB-C power delivery takes 10 watts and the USB-A takes 5. Now, the one thing I will warn you is if you're using all three ports, you're not going to get a full 100 watts out of the main port. You're going to get around 80, 85 watts. But if you're not using any of them, you will get the full 100 watts. Now, the reason this is the only one I bring on most trips is because it has so much power. I can just bring one power brick and power most of my accessories, even if I have to do a little bit of rotation. I just don't have to bring a lot, especially if all the devices use power delivery or USB-A. So this has been my number one used power brick. It's a pretty decent deal. It's about 46% off. They're normally around 85 bucks, and Anker is selling this on Amazon for around 45 bucks. So really solid deal. The next item is a smaller version of this charger. Now it's only 67 watts, but the reason I recommend this, it's got the same rules. 67 watts out of the laptop one, it does 10 watts out of the cell phone USB-C, and it does 5 watts out of the USB-A. So you're not going to get the full 67 out of the computer one unless you're just using that. But the reason I like this one is it's almost half the size of the prior charger. Now, I use the prior charger because I rather charge my devices quicker, and especially because if you're using all three of them, I need at least 60 watts for my laptop to be able to charge it and use it at the same time, so I just use the bigger one. But if you don't need that much power, some people rather have the slightly smaller charger, which this is, and it's on a discount. You can get it for 35 bucks, and they're normally 60 bucks. So a pretty solid deal on this as well if you want the smaller charger. Now, the next item is going to be a CFexpress Type A card from Pergear. Now, I have one of these cards. They're pretty decent. I've been using it for about a year now. The reason I got it is because Pergear happens to be selling these cards at a huge discount compared to Sony. They're really only usable in the Sony cameras like the FX30, FX3, A7S, A7 IV, some of the newer Sony cameras that you'll see come out next year. They're really only usable on the more professional or prosumer cameras, but they're expensive. So Pergear is doing a sale on their 512 gigabyte card. It's $167. So it's a lot cheaper than getting any of the alternatives, especially from Sony. So I figured I would mention this deal. The next item is very niche. A lot of you have been asking about my anamorphic adapter that I use on my Osmo Pocket, and it's not this one from K&F. I actually use the Freewell one, but the K&F came out after I got the Freewell one. It has a little bit more of a squeeze on it, and you could buy it just the adapter for around $35, and it's just straight up the adapter. And so if you're interested in shooting anamorphic on your Pocket, maybe you want to get some lens flares, or you just like that anamorphic distortion, they're offering a pretty good deal, and it has a little bit of a better squeeze than the Freewell one. The Freewell is a 1.1 squeeze, where this K&F one is a 1.2 squeeze. And the more squeeze you can get, the more anamorphic your footage is going to look. So I have been interested to pick this up, and I probably will just to test it out against my Freewell, just due to this price. So if you're interested, make sure to take a look at the K&F Anamorphic Filter. Now, the last item today is another Anker item, but it's something that I use on a daily basis. And this is the Anker USBC Power Surge Protector. It's only around 13, 14 bucks, and it offers 2 USB-As, a USB-C for power delivery, and 4 AC ports. Now, the reason I love this is I keep these on my desk just so I can power things really quickly. I also bring them on shoots so I can plug everything in and not have to bring extra power delivery devices, especially if I'm just charging batteries or charging V-mounts. These are really effective, they're really cheap, and they offer a little bit of length. So I'll plug this into the wall, I'll bring it over to a desk I'm using on set, I'll plug in my laptop, I'll plug plug in cameras, whatever it may be. It's more than enough ports, and I don't have to find a bunch of different ports to plug stuff into. I can just have it all in one central surge protector hub. And so for 13, 14 bucks, it's a really great value. So I do recommend it. And that's pretty much it. Those are my 10 best Black Friday deals for filmmakers, content creators, anyone who's into cameras, computers. I think there's a lot of deals here. If there's anything else that comes up over the next week, I'll add them in my description below. Also, make sure to have a community post the day of Black Friday if there's anything added. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date and to stay tuned just to see if there are any other deals. If you're interested in the Mac Mini, I have much more Mac Mini content coming out. But I want to thank you for joining me today. My name is Jeff Fagien. Have a great one, and I will see you in the next video.